So I bought my house 2 years ago because at the time that I needed to buy a house, my stepdad passed away, and me being the older sibling, I had to step up and do what I had to do. So before finalizing the paperwork, I got with everybody. We all agreed that we were going to share the cost of the mortgage. And let me just put it out there, my house is a 5-bedroom house. So before signing the paperwork, we all agreed we were going to pay. And in reality, all I asked everybody was to pay was $300 a month. Well, we moved in, everybody was happy, and less than a year, it only became 2 people living in this house, which is me and my mom. That was my first what the hell moment, but I had to do what I had to do, and thank God I have a good paying job. I never got behind on my mortgage. I was able to keep up with everything, including my other bills like my car note, cell phone bill, etc. So last October came, I went to go pay my mortgage, which was supposed to be $2,200. But when I opened the app to pay, it said $2,700 was owed. That was my second what the hell moment. So I was like, okay, what happened? So before I paid it, I called the mortgage company, and coming to find out, my taxes went up, which made my escrow go negative. And in order for my house note to go back down, I would have to pay $2,200 back into my escrow so that it could become even again. Again, I had to do what I had to do because who the hell wants to pay a $2,700 mortgage? Not me, okay? Especially when I'm the main breadwinner in the house. When I tell y'all I'm ready to move, I'm ready to move. I bought my house with good intentions. I feel like I fulfilled that need. Everybody has gone their own ways, which I'm not upset about at all. But I feel like 2 people living in a 5-bedroom house is just crazy. So I called my realtor last week and I asked her, when can I sell? Because I'm ready to go. And she told me if I was going to sell, I needed to sell now, which of course I can't sell now. But she said that I won't be able to sell later on this year because this is election year. And again, who knew that people don't buy houses during election year? She told me to go ahead and stay in the house another year so I could see if I could get more equity in it, which is not a bad thing. But when I sell, I probably will not purchase another home immediately. I probably won't. I probably won't purchase another home until me and my future husband purchase one together, if that happens. Hopefully it does, okay? If you are living in an apartment, you are living with somebody else, you are thinking about purchasing a home, please make sure when you purchase a home, you have all your ducks in a row and you have like an emergency fund for your house for things like if your escrow goes negative because your taxes went up, because that was definitely like a oh shit moment for me. I'm not even gonna lie. I thank God for me being able to purchase my home, but it's just time to let it go.
Welcome back to the channel. Robert here. So a lot of folks aren't able to sell their house and the internet is abuzz. You have the buyers saying you need to lower the price back to 2019 prices, which that's not going to happen. And you have a lot of sellers that have found themselves being homeowners that really weren't ready to become one. At no fault to her own in this scenario. She stepped up and tried to do the right thing. But the reason I wanted to have her start off the video is because there's so many things that we can learn. And so before we do that, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Robert. And on this channel, my goal is to simplify the home loan process. And I'm also a lender. So if you need help with any residential financing throughout these United States, my contact information is pinned to the top comment or the description below. So a couple of things with this young lady. Obviously, there was an emotional time, and you may be the person in your family that you're the go-to that everybody goes to. But when it comes to business, here's the deal. If the money's funny and their credit can't get it, you do yourself a favor to be a villain up front to prevent yourself from being discouraged, disappointed, or left holding the bag in the end. As she said, thank God she makes enough money to be able to float what she needed to float, and hopefully she's still able to do so until the time that she's able to sell the house. But you never bank on folks doing what they say they're going to do, especially if they don't have a track record of it. Okay. So then she falls into the position of not really understanding home ownership or haven't had gone through the process because she's just taking over from her father passing. And so it's just a bad spot, all to culminate with a bad time in the market, as her realtor was saying to her. But she's learned a valuable lesson. And I think ultimately she says, hey, I'm not going to come back into this unless I have an emergency fund. Number two, it takes two to make a thing go right. And so she's planning on not doing that until the time that she has a spouse before she goes into home ownership again. The only thing I would want to say to her, if you watch this video, make sure that you don't let lifestyle creep eat up those funds, say from the sale of the home. Okay. And make sure, well, I can't tell you what to do with those folks that didn't keep their word, but hopefully you're going to keep the proceeds and then put them somewhere where they can grow, as well as if your mortgage payment to rent payment, the difference, the delta goes down, make sure you're putting those monies to the side for the time that your future self wants to do something else. So appreciate you for coming out and putting your story out so that we can learn from it. And I wish you well. Let's go to the next one.
Hey guys, it's April and Lance here. This is round 2 of taking this video because somebody is a pain in my ass. But anyways, we decided to come here because we swore that we would be upfront and honest and open about the good, the bad, the ugly, and all the things in between with this adventure. The truth is, we have listed the house. It has sat on the market for 2 months. We have gotten very little, how do you say, traction? We've gotten one offer and they...
Well, we got 4 offers, but we're not.
We got one real offer and they ended up ghosting their realtor when it came time to put the earnest money down, and the other offers were from investors who lowballed us like 200 grand. So anyways, it's just not a good time in our area to sell. I don't know what the market is where you guys are, but for us it is horrible, and we are not going to just give our house away. So
we're in it.
We're in it. After we have sold everything that we own and gotten rid of everything, we have decided to move back in temporarily, maybe temporarily. We don't know what we're doing.
We don't know.
We don't know.
We'll be here through the winter.
Yes.
For sure.
Maybe reevaluate in the spring. Maybe when interest rates come down, we'll have some better luck. We don't really know. But for now, we're back in the house and rebuying some things.
And not rebuying some things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because we don't need all the things we had. So we found out.
Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, that's our story right now, and we're sticking to it. Stay tuned.
Ouch, ouch, ouch. You could feel the tension in the room. Hopefully they come out on their feet and the relationship is good on the other side of this event. But a lot of stress. And in their situation, it looks like they had plans on doing the RV thing, rolling around the country and living out of the RV, and sold a lot of stuff that they had in anticipation that the house was going to sell quickly. And what I want to say about that is this: realtors are in a real tough position, especially realtors that haven't been around long enough and have enough business to be able to tell the client the truth about the price. And I know there's probably some disrespectful offers going around, especially from investors. I'm not talking about those guys, but you should be able to look at a comparative market analysis, look at the sales in the most recent 3 months. And be honest with you, 3 months is kind of skewed, especially this year. But if you have those sales, that really tells you what your house should potentially sell for if it matches what the other folks that have sold prior to you, if the house is on par with that. And the time of the season is important. A lot of things go into that. But what you should never do is put the horse in front of the cart. And so a lot of us, we do that. I'm guilty. I've been guilty of it as well. And you want to make sure when it comes to something, a big ticket item like this, you want to make sure you got that all buttoned up before you go to the next step. Number two with that, you have to be realistic. The market has swung. If you owned a home prior to the pandemic, you're sitting on a ton of equity and you're competing with builders. True fact, as of the recording of this video, existing home sales are actually the median, the middle, not an average, but the middle across the country is higher than new construction. And so in people's minds, psychologically, they think new is better. And that's not really the case, especially with a lot of these home builders building over the last 2 or 3 years. I would be very careful because the quality of the product and the workmanship isn't there, in my opinion. But I digress. You're competing with the builder and you're competing with a lot of other folks. So just like buying at the right time, you have to sell at the right time as well. And it's still a great time to sell, but you have to be realistic so that you can move on down the road. So I said all that to say this. When we're selling, we're greedy. When we're buying, we're greedy. And agents have to do a better job of being able to help you see, not emotionally, because there's a lot of emotion when it comes to my house. And it's hard to navigate, but that's why you guys make the big bucks. And so if you're in a situation like this, don't let it tear you apart. Because my man was getting some digs in, I guess, about all the stuff, right? If you picked up what he was putting down. But this too shall pass. And like I said, hopefully it ends up well. But lower your expectations a little bit, man. Don't be too greedy if you're making a busload of money. Sell that thing, move on, so you guys could get to the next part of your life. These folks and you as well, if you have to move.
Life update for those who care. I just took my house off the market and I'm going to tell you why. Before I get into this, I want to make sure that I mention I am not an expert. I'm just talking about what I've seen in my neighborhood, okay? I listed my house 23 days ago, and at the time, there were only 2 houses for sale. Both of them had been sitting on the market for a little over 30 days. As soon as I listed, 4 more houses for sale, including my neighbor. And since then, there's been 2 more. I don't like competition, so I took my house off, but that's not the only reason. I started going just a little bit outside of my neighborhood to see how long those houses were sitting. 75 days, 89 days. Your girl know how to take a hint. If houses are not selling and they're sitting, I'm not about to have the house on the market right now. It's just not a good time, obviously. So I started doing some research because I'm thinking I can't be the only person going through this. I ended up finding this article. 2 states where home prices are falling because there are too many houses and not enough buyers. They are talking about Florida and Texas. Now, the experts say that we're not going to have a housing market crash, but it looked like it. So anyway, I'm just going to wait until after the market cools down a little bit and then I'll try again.
I like her mental as far as this home selling process is concerned. And this is something that a lot of you buyers need to understand. A couple of years ago, 42% of all homes were paid off free and clear. That number, that percentage has probably come down some. I don't have the exact numbers because a lot of those folks may have had to tap into some of that equity with a HELOC and things of that nature as they're waiting to move from one house to another. But the percentage of homes that are under 4% as far as an interest rate is concerned, that principal, interest, tax, and insurance payment is still not what rent is today. So those folks, they're not pressed. And as she was saying, once she figured out the time on market, not just where she is, but, in the surrounding area, I'm not pressed. She pulled it off the market, and that's how you have to be as well. And so as buyers, what I want to say to you is this: don't get delusional. I said it earlier. When we're buying, we're greedy. When we're selling, we're greedy. And what my job is, what a realtor's job is, to help you get outside of those emotions and have you look at the numbers. And here's the logical fact. Home prices are not going back to 2019. They're not going back to 1990 or 1970. The market is going to find an equilibrium, a balance. And in those two states that she's speaking about, Florida and Texas, that they're going through that right now. Lastly, to that point, Texas and Florida are large states. And so you have to look at your local market, zip code, heck, subdivision, just like she did. She said when she went outside of her subdivision, she saw a different story as far as days on market. So that's what you guys have to do, and not look at the national news, because guess what? I don't know. And for sure, all those folks that want you guys to believe that they know, they don't know either. We taking this thing day by day, and we look at data and things from the past to get an idea as to how behavior and sentiment go. But the more I look at this on a daily basis, 20 plus in the game, one thing is for sure, people are fickle. And that interest rate, that number, Jerome Powell, they got some of you guys on a string, a yo-yo, facts. And so that's what I know. And so once rates come down, then we're going to see, when I say we, buyers and sellers, you're going to find a bottom, and then it's going to be another race, another hike up, because really, when you look at just the population and the demographics, I know everybody on these platforms sounds like they're broke, but they're not. There's a lot of folks making over $120,000 when you put two people in a household. They're just waiting on a certain number. And so take that how you want to take it, but get out of your feelings and try to look at the numbers and think logically on both sides of the aisle. But again, if the numbers aren't there, you stay in the house. You're good. Live in the house. That's really what I preach. That's why you should buy. It's not an investment like equity or something of that nature. And that's what a lot of people have been doing, and they've been getting themselves jammed up. As a matter of fact, this last video, she's going to go into that. So I'm going to let Auntie tell you better than I can. Check it out.
Nancy over there trying to figure out why boomers aren't selling their houses. Now, if I have my ages right, a boomer today is between 60 and 78. And like she's saying in her post, many of them have a lower interest rate. I think to the idea that everybody bought their house as an investment property is something I keep hearing all over TikTok, and it's not the case for everybody. Some people literally want to stay in and retire in and live in their homes until they leave here. When I built my little ranch style house, I built it specifically to retire in. I looked for a small yard. I didn't want a corner lot. I didn't want a bunch of acreage because I knew I wasn't going to maintain it. I wanted a smaller house, and I live in Texas, so 1,900 square feet is pretty average here, a little bit above a starter home. And I wanted a setup so that if I wanted to bring someone in to live with me, they would have some space and some privacy. And that's the way my house is made. So it works out fine for me. And I didn't buy it for investment. You know, I bought it so I can live in it myself, enjoy it while I'm here, pass it on to my son, and he can do whatever he decides to do with it. If he wants to sell it, that's his business. If he wants to live in it, it's still his business. I really don't care what he does with it. But I'm here right now, and I knew I needed a roof over my head. So what did I do? I put a roof over my head. It's just that simple. For me, it's just that simple. Oh, you buy a home so you can have the equity and that. Sure, all of that is true, but we're living today. And so I did want something that I could pass on to my son that would set him up. If he wants to make it an investment property, that's his business. That's his business. But for me, I needed a roof over my head.
Yes, ma'am. Exactly what she said. Love it. Okay. She knew why she was buying the home, and she's not trying to sell. And so why did I bring this video on this video? Why do I want to react to that? Because there's a sentiment out here from younger folks or folks who aren't on the property ladder where you want to demonize people because they bought a home and they don't have to sell. Okay. What you have to do is figure out how you're going to get onto the property ladder. And respectfully, a lot of you guys are wasting time waiting on, as an example, student loans to be forgiven. They're never going to forgive those student loans. That's a source of income for the government. What we have to do is stop borrowing the money that we don't want to pay back, right? And I just use that as an example. Back to this, I digress. So she never purchased this home as an investment. Everybody's not buying homes as an investment unless it's an investment property. Single family homes are for you to live in. And as she said eloquently, equity comes and she could pass it down to her son and he could do whatever he wants to do with it, right? Generational, all the buzzwords. But she says for her, it's shelter and it's taking care of herself. And she thought enough in advance. I don't want a big yard. I want a split level in case somebody comes in to live with me for whatever reason. Everybody has their space. My point is this: we have to think about things. We have to consider the full matter and just stop doing everything spontaneously, emotionally, or because you saw somebody else do it. This is what's jamming us up, right? And so she made that point. It's not an investment for her. It's to provide shelter. And a lot of those other things that come with it will come. And so I wanted to end it up there for those of you that may want to get onto the property ladder, because I think it's a great thing if that's what you want to do. And if you don't, that's good as well. You just need to make sure you're taking care of your future self. And so if you've watched this and you say, you know what, Robert, I want to understand how to get on the property ladder, just like Auntie, okay? I want a house to live in. I'm not speculating, and all the good things that come from it, that's great, but I want to make sure I do it in the right way and manner. As I said earlier, I'm a lender, and you can reach out to me in the pinned comment or the description below, because I would love to have a conversation to see if we're fit. So guys, my time is up, but I thank you for yours. As I always say, let's be good to one another. Let grace abound. And watch this video here before you go. And then for the rest of you guys, indeed, y'all be blessed.